Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. You hear me?
Yes.
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 Singapore Rotary Institute Chair, PDG Chiu Gimbok, Rotary Coordinator, Zone 10B and 10C. Trustee, TRF Trustee, Aziz Menon. RI Director-elect, Faiz Kudwai. RI Officers, District Governors, present, past and future. My fellow Rotarians from Zone 1B, 9 and 10. RRFC, ENT, RRFS Teams Leader. Welcome to 2021 Singapore Peace Institute Regional Rotary Foundation Seminar, the last English breakout session on sustainable projects to increase our impact. Thank you for taking your time to join us tonight. I think play share screen. Join share screen, please.
Tagging to share the first slide set.
Okay, coming.
Next. I am PDG Anis, Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator, Region 10, Zone 1B. I'll be today moderator. Next. I'm pleased to introduce the following speaker in sequence in this session. TRF Trustee Aziz Menon from Pakistan. Next. District Rotary Foundation Committee Chair, past President Dr. Sharul Hamid, District 3310 Singapore. Next. PDG Michael Liro, Cadre Head, Zone 10A, Philippines. Next. District Rotary Foundation Chair, past District Governor Dr. Manzurul Haq Chaudhary, District 3282, Bangladesh. Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator, Region 12, PDG Jason Lim from Thailand. Next. Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator and a District Rotary Foundation Committee Chair for District 3420, Indonesia, PDG AL. RI Director-elect Faiz Kudwai from Pakistan. Singapore Rotary Institute Chair, PDG Chiu Kimbok, Rotary Coordinator, Zone 10B and 10C. Next. Wanted to sincerely thanks District Governor Navini Join and her team for the wonderful technical support for all these RRFs breakout sessions. Without further delay, I am pleased to invite our trustee, Aziz Menon, to deliver his opening remarks. Over to you, Trustee Aziz. Unmute, please.
Yeah, okay, done.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, my friend Anis, RRFC, and I can see the Rotary leaders, coordinators, RRFCs, Greetings to each and every one of you, the chair of the Institute, Director Faiz, and my friends. Warm greetings to you, and we hope that you have a good and productive session. Let me start the ball rolling by giving you some substance on the Rotary Foundation and the sustainable goals of the Rotary Foundation, the global grants and beyond, and what joy and happiness you bring to the deprived community. My friends, the time we are passing through is a time of great challenges. COVID-19 has divided us and has put us into our homes. We are not enjoying the regular fellowship. The last year, due to the pandemic, we were not sure if we would be able to meet our goal of $410 million for the Rotary Foundation. With your support, with your donation, we crossed that goal and we closed the year at 440.9. So basically we did 441 million against the goal of 410 million. Similarly, for polio, we had to do $50 million to meet the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation challenge, and we ended up with 52.9 million. Thus, we were able to give $152.9 million for polio. We also did record number of district grants, 467, $31.1 million. We did disaster grants, 55, $3.1 million. And the number of global grants broke all records, and we did 2,066 global grants, which was for $130 million. The first scale grant was approved for $2 million, and the total grant amount which went to Zambia to fight malaria was $6 million. So this is, a big amount. It is a sizable amount to bring difference in the life of the people living there. How many people would be saved from malaria? The same way, a small global grant also, if it is for a water filtration plant, or if it is for some project in the hospital or in the community or a literacy project, it brings difference in the life of the people. It goes and affects. You bring smiles, you bring happiness, you bring joy. So these grants, have got an everlasting record, and they are fantastic. One global grant brings you so much of joy, and you get so much of fame and name that you will not imagine. I myself, as a governor, I remember whenever I did the projects, I could not believe the impact it brought. So we are in Rotary to serve the community. We are in Rotary to serve the deprived. And we should not worry. If you have to light the lamp of your share, one candle is enough. We should not curse the darkness. We can light the candle of our share, and it will bring joy. It will bring happiness, and the darkness will go. So my friends, with these words, I thank RRFC Anis Uzama for arranging such a big gathering and for inviting me to give the opening remarks. I will not come between you and the speakers which are lined up. I saw them. Each and every one is knowledgeable. Each and every one of them is fully qualified to give you more in-depth. I pay my respects and regards, and thank you very much, Anis Uzama, my friend, for inviting me.
Thank you, Trustee Aziz, for your inspirational address. Thank you again. Now, it is my pleasure to share my PowerPoint on overview of our zone in the grants participation over last 3 years. Next. This is the graph show the global grants growth and annual fund contribution from the 2013-2020. Is a yellow show this annual fund is going down, and now global grants global grants contribute increase 6% from the global grants. Global grants is a blue color. You see that is 102% is a increase 2013 to 2020. We need more annual fund giving to support our project from DDF. Next. This is top 10 recipient is a countries by number of grants and grants amount in 2020-2021. By numbers is our zone Philippines. Philippines is a rank number 3 with 118 global grants, and Thailand rank number 86, and Taiwan rank is 83. By grant amount, Philippines ranks number 3 with $5.8 million. Taiwan ranks number 4th with $5.4 million, and Thailand ranks is number 8 with 4.3 million. Next. This is 3 years. This is global grants, the approved global grants, number and grants value for my region 10, Bangladesh in 2019, the 8 global grants, 2020, 3 global grants, and 2021, 12 global grants. Indonesia in 2019 is a 5 global grants, and 2020 is a 3 global grants, and 2021 in increase to 12 global grants. Pakistan is a 2019 is 2 global grants, and 2020 only 1, and 2021 increased to 8 global grants. Thank you for paying attention on my sharing. I would like to invite the next distinguished speaker who have participated more than 100 global grants projects in Singapore and other countries. DRRFC, past district governor, past presidents, Dr. Sharul Hamid on this topic, delivered with impact, sustainable grants project, the Singapore experience. Sharul, please.
Right, a very good evening. Thank you very much, Moderator RRFC, Dr. Anis, for kindly inviting me to speak on this topic. The topic that I'm going to speak today is on Deliver with Impact, Sustainable Grant Projects, the Singapore Experience. So what is the Rotary Foundation, fellow Rotarians? We all know that Rotary Foundation is a charitable arm of Rotary International. It's a separate entity, but it's a charitable arm of the Rotary International. But I ask you, fellow Rotarians, to rethink the word charity. Why? This is a picture of an event in Singapore in 1961. It is a Rotary event. If you look carefully, you will see the Rotary emblem. And right in the middle is one of the past district governor from Singapore. This event had 600 over children who suffered from polio. And they were there and they received gifts from the state as well as from Rotary. What they were doing, fellow Rotarians, was charity. So what is charity? Charity is something that is natural, something that is impulsive, something that is short-term, to give to the beneficiaries so that they can benefit. The key word, fellow Rotarian, is short-term. We'll come back to this. We're all familiar with the 7 areas of focus, and we're going to talk about how these 7 areas of focus projects can be done in Singapore. Just look at it, fellow Rotarians. If we are to concentrate on the charity aspect, how are we going to do project on water and sanitation? How are we going to do project on peace building? How are we going to do project on maternal and child health? In fact, when the global grant system was first launched on 1st of July, 2013, my district governor at that time, you may know him, his name is Governor Chew Gimbok, pat me on the back and say, Shahul, it's going to be a tough challenge to be able to do global grants in Singapore. Maybe you have a chance with community economic development. Let's come back to this again, fellow Rotarians. Instead of just giving food and giving items for the children to be able to go back and benefit for the day, why don't we look at it from a philanthropic point of view? Philanthropy and charity are sometimes used interchangeably, but they're completely different. Philanthropy focuses on the long-term effects. Philanthropy focuses on the root causes of these social problems. That, fellow Rotarians, is what the Rotary Foundation wants Rotarians to do. You're all familiar with this. Deliver with impact, increase your impact. How do we achieve that? We talk about assessing needs. We talk about needs assessment questions that we have to ask. We're talking about addressing the needs that is most concerning to the community, not what we as Rotarians can give to them. We talk about the 7 areas of focus, which I've discussed just now. We talk about being able to measure the outcomes of what we do before and after so that we can see the impact. We talk about the community being stronger at the end of the project. And we talk about all this so that we can do a good project in the philanthropic way, but not the charity way. So these, fellow Rotarians, we have to rethink, we have to redesign so that we can relaunch our projects and do good in the world. Let's take a couple of examples. Computers. Let's say you have a Rotarian in your club who have access to hundreds of computers. And you say, this is a good idea. We can give away to the school children. And your club, fellow Rotarians, spends so much time and effort to find out who are the people who need it, to collect all the computers, to refurbish the computers, to redistribute the computers. At the end of the day, you're so happy because the beneficiaries receive it. It is a good project, fellow Rotarians, but it is charity. Why? Let's take another example. A medical mission or a dental mission. This project is very close to me, fellow Rotarians, because I'm a dentist. And the first 15 years of my Rotary life with the Rotary Club of Singapore was spent doing dental mission as a top priority. Is it philanthropy? Do we address the social problem? Do we address the real problem the community has? No, we did not, because our projects were effort-centric. What we were doing very hard was just doing the work. We were not thinking what the community can get. So this is a mind change that we have to do, fellow Rotarians, to deliver with impact so that our projects can be sustainable. So instead of concentrating on the effort, we should think about the outcome. The outcome must drive your project, fellow Rotarians. I think this is really, really important. The community must benefit. The funding that you have from the Global Grant Project must not be excessively for assets. it must not be excessively for the computers, for example. 95% of the project cannot go towards buying of assets. That is not a sustainable project. But what you should do, fellow Rotarians, yes, you need to pay for assets. You need to buy the school items for the kids, but you can also provide training and also encourage some behavior change, because, fellow Rotarians, the beneficiaries cannot sell these skills like the computers. They cannot sell the medical equipment instead of the training. And most importantly, they have to participate. They have to participate so that the change can happen. And one more thing, fellow Rotarians, we as Rotarians should be that agent of change. We should just not be a project manager to make sure that everything happens on that day, for that week, or for that month. We must be an agent to ensure that the change is long-lasting. So Rotary Club Singapore and the other clubs in Singapore has done about 16 global grants over the past 7 years or so. I know it's not a big number. 8 of them are scholarships grant, which we didn't really have to do too much. Our tertiary institution here is very popular with students from Japan and from USA to come and study here. But we want to talk about the 8 humanitarian projects, or at least some of them. Let me take you to Singapore. What if one day you found a note that is written by somebody that you love? Your son, your daughter, your grandson, your granddaughter. How would you feel? What is going on in the minds of these people? How heartbroken will you be, fellow Rotarians? Mental health is a big issue. It's a big issue in Singapore. I am sure it is a big issue from where you come from, because we are all human beings, fellow Rotarians. Mental health comes in various forms and everything. Various forms and various conditions and various disorders. You've heard of schizophrenia, you've heard of depression and neurosis. You've talked about personality disorders. In Singapore, if you're not well, fellow Rotarians, if you have a mental condition, we have the best facilities for you. You can get treated at our best hospitals. You can stay for as long as you want, whether it takes a week, a month, 6 months, a year. But if you're well, fellow Rotarian, please go home. But people with mental illness, let me ask you a question, fellow Rotarians. Do they ever recover 100%? When the person goes back home, for example, the family sometimes are on the edge, not knowing when events might turn and this person might hurt themselves or hurt other people. The numbers are quite frightening. This is a Canadian statistics, but I'm sure it will not differ very much from many other countries. 20% of Canadian youth are affected by mental illness, 20%. And 50% of the population will have a mental illness by the time they turn 40. And one very sad statistics in Singapore, the number one cause of death, fellow Rotarians, of young people between the age of 0 to 29 in Singapore is suicide. By the time this week ends, 2 other persons in this age group would have committed suicide in Singapore. So this project is a very innovative project. It's a global grant project approved in 2013, 2014. And it pays for the training of 150 volunteers who may be family members or lay volunteers to actually act as befrienders to people who are recovering from mental illness. We work with an organization called Club HEAL, and HEAL stands for Hope, Empowerment, Acceptance, and Love. Structurally, the organization already have a facility for the people who are recovering from mental illness to come down and spend time there, but that is not enough. They need intervention for the Rotarians. And research have shown intervention by mentors and by volunteer mentors especially can help these people to get better integrated to the community. The project pays for 150 volunteers to attend a mentoring program so that they can reach out to those who are recovering from mental illness, go to their homes, meet them outside, and the grant will pay for the taxi fare. The grant will pay a stipend to these volunteers who are doing this outreach program. So they also have a sharing session so that they can share what they have learned with each other. And the grant spends a very minimal amount, 5% of the funding to support with the asset. So can you see here, fellow Rotarian, the change, concentration of asset has gone really down, and training and the outcomes are the one that we are looking at. So the project paid for 150 volunteers to be trained as what we call healing friends at a cost of $36,500. Second project, fellow Rotarian. The Rotary Club of Singapore in 1959 put together a $20,000 funding and persuaded the government to match it 1-for-1 to build a hostel worth about $60,000. I did the math on Google. It's probably worth about 10 times more. So $20,000 at that time is now worth about $200,000. This is a big project for our club in 1959. And the Chief Justice actually inaugurated the building. And this is a halfway home, fellow Rotarians, for ex-prisoners who are recently released to be able to spend time in this hostel, to be integrated in community before they have the confidence to live and be on their own. So this is the hostel today, and our club has been involved for many years for this project. Why is this significant? Our next global grant, fellow Rotarian, is to help those who are currently recovering from drug offenses in the Singapore Prison Service. It's again another pioneer project. Why, fellow Rotarians? We all know that the crime rate in Singapore is low. Yes, we have drug offenses here, but it's still low compared to other countries. But something that is more important, fellow Rotarian, is that the reoffending rate is high. The reoffending rate for drug offenders are high in Singapore, just like any other country. So research has shown that the best way to help those who are recovering or those who are who have committed offenses with drugs is to do a project with second-time drug offenders. Our Singapore Prison Service do plenty of projects with them. But again, research have shown that projects done in-house is always very different. The inmates don't feel connected because they feel a sense of obligation to participate in such programs. So this project was the first time that allowed a third party to actually go into the prison service over a period of time to do a project on life skills, on leadership skills, so that these offenders, when they are released, will be able to handle themselves in the real world. It's called Architects of Life, and it's a project to ensure that the offenders are being able to understand the ways and methods possible to say no to all the bad influences and to say no to drugs. Rethink, redesign, and relaunch. So if you look at the 7 areas of focus, our first 2 projects that we discussed, the first one on mental illness fell under the disease and prevention treatment. The second one, the one on Architects of Life, it was more to be able to allow these offenders to come out and be able to be independent, especially economically. So it fell under the community economic development. Fellow Rotarians, peace building and conflict prevention was the focus of our next few projects. Can you think about it? Peace building in Singapore? Yes, fellow Rotarians. Our next project was also with the prison service. It's called the Victim Empathy Program. And this program was approved and completed in the year 2015-2016. What it does, it brings together the victim and the offenders so that they understand the trauma that they've inflicted on the victims. So when you have your house broken, fellow Rotarians, and you lose your handphone, and you lose your jewelry, you're losing more than just that. Can you imagine the next time there's a strange sound in the middle of the night, your anxiety level will go through the roof. And this project has been shown to reduce the reoffending rates of such offenders. Another great project that was done with the Singapore Prison Service for $40,000, fellow Rotarians, under the peace building and conflict prevention. To rethink and to redesign and to relaunch a project is not about the area of focus. It's about who you want to reach out. You've seen the projects, we've helped ex-offenders, we've helped current offenders. Can we do something more, fellow Rotarians? Can we do something more to help the young people who are at risk so that they are able to contribute and prevent this vicious cycle into crime? Our next global grant project that was approved in Singapore was called Football Plus. It marries the best of sports and the ability to mentor them at that age. The children were sourced or were recommended by the different agencies who are well aware of the problems that they have, the home problems that they have. Some of them come from what we call restructured homes, where the parents have separated, both parents have remarried, and they have half sisters and step brothers, all living together, and not enough time for each and every child. So this project brings about a mentoring scheme with such boys, and they have to perform well in school to be able to continue to be in this football project, which is very, very popular among the young boys and girls in Singapore. So under peace building and conflict prevention, we must address the root cause, fellow Rotarians. We not just cannot address the conflict part, to resolve the conflict. We must be able to address the root social problems and work on it so that it becomes a conflict transformation rather than a conflict resolution. Another project that we did was to satisfy a need between young offenders between the age of 16 and 18 in Singapore. When they offend at that age, normally they have no parental guidance at all, and they're probably estranged from their families and they don't go and stay at home. So this project actually pays for the training of mentors who will accompany these youth to court, who would advise them on the right way to do things, but more importantly, to make sure they do not re-offend during that probation period that's being used to assess their behavior. So fellow Rotarians, let me share with you the 5 criteria that I feel is very important for us to really do an impactful project, to really do a good sustainable project. So number 1, we have to identify a vulnerable population. It is not difficult. Whether you're from America, from England, from Europe, from Singapore, there will be vulnerable population in your community. I've given some examples of recently released offenders. I've given you some examples of currently incarcerated drug offenders, people with mental illness. So these are all vulnerable population that we can work with. And we must include some form of training elements, because training is something that's really important that can bring about the behavioral change. And that is really important. If your project can impart skills that the beneficiary cannot sell away, that will qualify to make the project sustainable, right? It's not easy to do a global grant project. There are challenges. It's a changing landscape. There are more requirements. The funding is not so great now, but let's not concentrate on that. Those are the negative thoughts. Let's persevere so that we can do good with our foundation. So fellow Rotarians, just to end, let's not talk about doing projects. Let's not talk about charity. Let's not talk about philanthropy. Let's talk about investing in humanity. Because if you put your effort and your good thoughts into investing in humanity, that would qualify it to be a sustainable project. Look at this picture, fellow Rotarians. The boy in front, who is sitting down, has no upper limb, has no lower limb. The 2 boys and a girl behind are hearing impaired. So this is a picture of one of our projects in Indonesia, an orphanage that is housing these children. Should we just give them what they need now? Will they grow up and ask humanity what has been done for them to be helped? We must be able to include training. We must be able to make sure that they can reach the full potential. I think that is the key. And we look into investing in humanity. So fellow Rotarians, it's not about delivering impact, sustainable grant. It's about doing something that will have a good outcome and something that will strengthen the community further. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Shaul Hamid. Thank you.
Wonderful sharing. Oh, sorry. Oh, thank you. Thank you, dear FC, Shaul. Your wonderful sharing on the Singapore experience. And you say mental is, I think, every country is a mental problem. Thank you. Our next pleasure to invite another expert, PDG Michael Lido, Cadre Head for Zone 10A on Grants updates, and best practices. Please,
Thank you.
Michael.
Thank you, PDG Anis. Good evening, fellow Rotarians. I am past District Governor Mike Lirio, District 3820. Allow me to present to you some foundation updates, grant updates, and I have listed down some best practices that I saw while I'm on audit around. Now, many of you know these updates already, but let's make this as a refresher course for some of you and new learnings for some Rotarians who still are not updated with the foundation, with the Rotary Foundation. Allow me to discuss the seventh area of focus. It was discussed earlier, but I'll just point it out why and what happened. Why did they add it? What were the guidelines before this new Rotary year? And what were added starting this new Rotary year? What are the other guidelines? And I have listed down again some best practices which I saw as I go around some clubs in Asia. The environment becomes the new area of focus. In Rotary year 1990-1991, Rotary International President Paulo Vici Costa made the environment one of his primary causes, creating the Preserve Planet Earth Subcommittee, which looked at the ways clubs and members could conduct an environmental initiative. The Rotary Foundation trustees and Rotary International Board of Directors have added a new areas of focus, the environment. More than 18 million in foundation global grant funding has been allocated to environment-related projects over the past 5 years, creating a distinct area of focus to support the environment and will give Rotary members even more ways to bring about positive changes in the world and increase our impact. Supporting the environment becomes the Rotary's seventh area of focus, which are categories of service activities supported by global grants. It joins peace building and conflict prevention, disease prevention and treatment, water, sanitation and hygiene, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, and community economic development. So what's new with global grants? For me, there are a lot. Many of you know all about this already. And there will be a lot of adjustments to be made. To better support the growth of global grants, the Rotary Foundation trustees recently approved policy changes to help balance financial resources with program demands. These changes took effect last July 1, 2021. The Global Grants Program has been a tremendous success since it launched in 2013-2014. The first year, the foundation awarded 868 global grants worth $47.3 million. By Rotary year 2019-2020, the number of global grants awarded increased to 1,359, worth $95.6 million. While global grant funding increased by more than 100%, contributions to the annual fund, which is the primary source of global grant funding, did not keep pace. The demand for global grant funding is far greater than what is available. Moreover, the foundation responded to the unprecedented challenges brought on by COVID-19, awarding $32 million in disaster response grants since March 2020 to projects aimed to fighting the pandemic. The amount available from the World Fund for global grants each year depends primarily on annual fund contributions. Over the last several years, the World Fund, which provides the necessary funding for our highest priority activities, has been depleted before each Rotary year ends, leaving many grant proposals unfunded. This year, the Foundation implemented several cost-saving measures in an effort to increase the funding available for global grants. The trustees and the RI board also transferred 15 million from the Foundation operating reserves and RI budget surplus to the World Fund. In total, nearly 20 million in additional funding is being made available this year. Unfortunately, it's still not enough to meet demands. Trustees expect a financial shortfall this year and in years to come due to the growing success of the Global Grant Program. This is our setup since July 1, 2020. All cash contributions will have no match from the World Fund, but DDF contribution will still get 100% match. Zero World Fund match to cash contributions will continue. That is until June 30, 2021. Now, starting this new Rotary year, July 1, 2021, the World Fund match of DDF will be reduced from 100% to 80% when being used for global grants. Instead of DDF applied to global grants receiving a 100% match from the World Fund, the global grant match will decrease to 80%. For the 2020-2021 Rotary year, as long as funds remain available, DDF will continue to be matched at 100% for applications submitted by May 31 and approved by June 30. Our international sponsor partners should shoulder at least 15%. Formerly, it was 30% of the funding. Now, last July 1, all annual fund share contribution will have a 5% directed to operating expenses, and the remaining money will then be split equally between the World Fund and the DDF. To help fund operating expenses. Currently, a $100 annual fund share contribution is divided as 50 for DDF and 45 for the World Fund and $5 for the operating expenses. Last July 1, this new Rotary year, a $100 contribution will be divided $47.50 to DDF and $47.50 to the World Fund, and a $5 operating and the $5 to operating expense. As shown by the Foundation's review from several independent charity ratings, our stewardship of contribution has made the Rotary Foundation one of the most highly rated and effective nonprofit. We received a 4-star rating from Charity Navigator for 13 straight years. Now, here is a comparison of what happened last year, since last year until June 30, and after July 1, 2021. The $5 will be split between the World Fund and the DDF. The ability to roll over unused DDF will be limited to 5 years. Please take note, the GNs here and DGEs. Districts are encouraged to fully use their DDF to make a positive impact through our programs. but the amount of DDF rollover remains high. On July 1, 2020, 48.8%, 48.8 million was carried into the new Rotary year. At the end of its Rotary year, starting July 1, 2026, DDF has been held for more than 5 years, will be applied at the district's discretion to Polio Plus, area of focus endowment funds, Rotary Peace Centers, the Disaster Response Fund, or the World Fund. Redirection should be decided upon by the district. If the district does not advise the Rotary Foundation, TRF will automatically divert the unused funds to World Fund. Now, yeah, here it is. Remember, unused DDF will be limited to only 5 years. DDF contributions transferred to Polio Plus will be matched at 50% instead of 100% by the World Fund before being matched by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Bill and the Gates Foundation will continue matching 2:1 every US dollar that Rotary commits to polio eradication up to 50 million per year. Well, you all heard that Bill and Melinda divorced, and maybe still Bill who will handle, or the father who will handle the foundation. Rotary may now apply for global grants starting July 1, 2022, I'm sorry. So that is for the new Rotary year. Okay, now allow me to discuss to you some best practices that I've seen in my audits, financial audits of some of the grants, global grants or district grants all over Asia. I saw Jason Lim of Thailand, and I was almost got caught in Thailand last March. I went home just in time for the lockdown. I did a random audit in their district. One is the honest to goodness needs assessment. Members and stakeholders' involvements is very important. Proper stewardship of funds, and of course, the grant management. I have seen so many horror stories of grants being managed by only one Rotarian. We are all business people, and we do practice proper fund management in our own businesses. We will not have problems with our projects if we just copy our own business model. In general, overall grant management is important. That is the reason why at least 3 persons are needed to form a committee for the local host. For me, the needs assessment is of primary importance. This was discussed earlier by PP Dr. Shahul Hamid. Seeing a need and developing a project before conducting a thorough assessment is not right. It should be the other way around. Shopping around the solution or intervention is a common issue for global grants, not properly assessed initially. In my several audits, there are so many projects that failed because there is no real honest to goodness assessment. Needs assessment is a must. I would like to thank PD Janice, for giving me an opportunity to speak to you. It's been a while, and I've not been out of the country for the last 2 years already.
Okay.
Thank you very much, fellow Rotarians.
Thank you, PDJ Michael, for sharing the very important best practice of a successful project and grants updates. Now, our next speaker comes from my district, my 3282, PDJ Manzurul Haq Chaudhary, champion to leading the highest global grant application since he was the DRRFC. His topic on TRF grant success in saving health, combating hunger, and alleviating poverty in Bangladesh. Over to my friends, the DRFC, PDG Manjur.
Thank you, PDG Dr. Miranis. I take it as a wonderful privilege for me to be a part of this Regional Rotary Foundation seminar. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity to be a speaker of one of the sessions. So I would like to welcome all the participants first to this Regional Rotary Foundation seminar, and particularly to this session. And the session topic, as you have heard, sustainable projects to increase our impact. And my discussion points are TRF grants, success in saving health and life, combating hunger, and alleviating poverty in Bangladesh. Until 2013-14, our one country, one district, 3280 in Bangladesh, utilized significant amount of TRF funds through matching grants, 3H grants, ambassadorial scholarships, grant for university teachers, group study exchange program, new opportunity grants, Carl P. Miller discovery grants, etc. And all these grants left significant impact through changing lives of people in different areas, particularly in rural Bangladesh. After the bifurcation in the year 2013 and 14, the 3280 bifurcated into 81 and 3281 and 3282. And both the districts have implemented significant number of projects through utilization of Rotary Foundation funds. Now, and those projects are in the field of combating hunger, promoting health, and preventing diseases, saving lives, alleviating poverty, and of course, the recent pandemic, the combating the COVID disasters that happened globally. You can see District 3282. Let me just move this. Okay. District 3281 global grant implemented during the year from 2014 to 2021. It was more than 4.8 million US dollars. And District 3282 and 81 implemented 68 global grant projects. 3282 implemented about 13 projects, and we have utilized more than $500,000. You can see 645,500 US dollars we have used. If I begin with this signature project of my home club, Jalalabad Disabled Rehab Center and Hospital. This project is a direct outcome of my group study exchange visit to United States as the team leader. And the impact of that GSA visit, is, as I said, is the direct outcome of that visit is this hospital. District 7390, Texas, USA, and our District 3280, we both came into an agreement that would be going to establish a disabled rehabilitation hospital in Sylhet, Bangladesh. This is the model of the hospital, and this is the actual picture of the hospital. We started with a small tin shed house, and at this moment, it is a beautiful building. It's a 5-story building with all modern equipments. And before this hospital was established, there was no physiotherapy center in the northeastern part. I would say, other than Dhaka, in northern part of Bangladesh, there was no center like this. And after this hospital was established, you can see we are providing physiotherapy. We are providing we are making artificial limbs and providing to amputees. This young girl, she lost her leg from a traffic accident, and we gave her an artificial limb. Not only that, she can now walk, and we have provided her a good job. Now she's leading a decent life. This young boy also lost his leg from a traffic accident, and we provided from our limb center that has been established with the fund from the Rotary Foundation. And he got this limb, and now you can see, like a normal young boy, he can walk, and he has been provided a job in our hospital as the lift operator. And also this hospital is providing a training program. You can see all these people, they got training from our hospital, and they're now rendering services. So the impact, you can imagine, this hospital has been providing since 1995 until now. Gradually, the number of patients are growing. We have both inpatient and outpatient services, and every day, at least 100 disabled people are coming for physiotherapy, and artificial limbs and braces. We are providing good numbers every month. These are some remarkable projects. Rotary District 3280 before bifurcation implemented in different parts of Bangladesh. The first cyclone shelter was established by Rotary. In 1991-92, also a big, massive, multi-purpose Rotary Cyclone Center cum rehabilitation shelter was constructed at the cost of 3.5 million US Bangladesh Taka, funded by the Rotary Foundation. And the impact of these are obviously long-term and sustained. You can see with these cyclone shelters, we have been saving human lives, preventing loss of livestock and damage of properties, preventing spread of communicable diseases. This is one of the pictures of those cyclone shelters. Then we have a combat hunger project in Bangladesh, very popular project, which was initially established with a matching grant project funded by the Rotary Foundation. And this project has been making significant changes in the lives of people throughout Bangladesh. It's providing microcredit, establishing agricultural farms, providing farming equipments, supporting vocational training centers. These are some of the pictures that we have been able to establish in Bangladesh through Combat Hunger Project. You can see the poultry farm, this lady who didn't have a job, who used to depend on others. Now she is self-sufficient, has a poultry farm, and got the funding from Combat Hunger Project. You can see this young lady, she was also jobless, used to depend on others. Now she is self-dependent from this sewing machine. Plenty of sewing machines have been provided to underprivileged girls, particularly in the rural areas, with the funding from the Combat Hunger Project. This is one of the schools in northeastern part of Bangladesh, and this school is providing technical training to make young boys, school dropout boys, college dropout boys, to be self-sufficient and to get a job. You can see these young girls. These are the students of this school. These young boys are getting hand-on training on technical education. These girls are also getting technical education. So this school has been provided. It's a sustained project we have been doing since 1996. And the impacts of this Combat Hunger Project, which has been supporting this school, this poultry farm, these young girls, and other. So compensating nutritional deficiency, reducing poverty through self-sufficiency, employment opportunities, and enhancement of occupational skills. We are lucky to have three 3H project, health, hunger, and humanity projects. You know, these are very big fund projects, like $500,000 to $400,000. And this is one of those inland fishery projects funded by 3H project of the Rotary Foundation. And also the livestock and poultry project in Mymensingh area of Bangladesh, and also the concentrated language encounter project for functional literacy was one of the three health 3H projects. And the impact of these giant projects, you can see reducing poverty, creating employment opportunities, making up shortage of livestock and poultry supplies, and thus compensating nutritional deficiency, promoting health, and promoting literacy in rural areas. Rotary low-cost shelter house, though nowadays Foundation doesn't fund the housing projects, but we used to have in Bangladesh low-cost shelter houses projects, and more than $600,000 funded by the Rotary Foundation are used to provide these low-cost shelters to less fortunate people, or the homeless people, I would rather say. Arsenic mitigation project worth more than $1 million. And all over Bangladesh, we had, particularly in northern part of Bangladesh, we had this arsenic problem. You can see the palm of the man. He has all these arsenicosis disease. And on the right side, you can see the pictures. Through this arsenic mitigation projects, the tubules or the sources of waters which were detected to have arsenic, they were replaced by safe water. So this was a giant project and has left great impact to change the lives of people. Rotary's massive cataract operation funded by the Rotary Foundation worth more than $500,000 project was the forerunner of such grassroots level eye care programs in rural Bangladesh. You can see on the left-hand side the picture, the eye camp used to get the poor people from different villages to come to a community center or to a hospital or to a school building, and under an eye care operation camp, hundreds of cataract operations were done in a couple of days, and thus this project helped preventing a lot of eye problems, including blindness. So the gross impact of those projects, like low-cost shelter houses, provided housing to significant number of homeless people. Arsenic mitigation project ensured safe drinking water, thus prevented diseases like arsenicosis, and massive cataract operation campaign promoted eye health and prevented blindness. We had numerous other projects, like I'm not going to name all these. These are some nurses dormitory, physiotherapy center, leprosy center, Rotary Health Center, Rotary Cancer Hospital, the palliative care unit at one of the universities in Bangladesh, color Doppler unit at some cardiac hospital research institute. All these projects funded by the Rotary Foundation have left tremendous impact to change the lives of people and to save the lives of people. You can see one of the pictures of Pride project. This is a cancer hospital supported or initiated and established by Rotary Club of Rajshahi with the funding, major funding from the Rotary Foundation. Remarkable eye care projects supported by the Rotary funds in Bangladesh are Rotary Eye Hospital in Sherpur, Rotary Eye Hospital in Kustia, Rotary Khulna Eye Hospital, Jahanara Rotary Eye Hospital, and Rotary Eye Cornea Bank with another non-government organization. This is the picture of one of those eye hospitals that have been established with the major funding from the Rotary Foundation. General healthcare projects, as I said, Joshua Rotary Hospital is another remarkable project. Rotary Health Center in Nawapara, mobile mammogram unit to detect breast cancer. Then Rotary Cancer Hospital, as I said, Rajshahi Cancer Hospital. There are a couple others. I'm not wasting time, just reminding you that these are good number of healthcare, general healthcare projects also been done. Disabled Rehabilitation Center and Hospital, the one that I just mentioned at the beginning, that is the signature project of not only of my home club, but of our entire district. And this is one of its kind in the entire region, other than one at Dhaka established by CRP or Center for Rehabilitation of Paralyzed. And this Jalalabad Disabled Rehabilitation Center and Hospital, as I mentioned before, other than that, we have also Rotary Limb Center in Khulna, Rotary Limb Center in Bogura, Rotary Physiotherapy Center in Kustia, and Physiotherapy Center in Chittagong recently got the funding from a global grant project of the Rotary Foundation by Rotary Club of Chittagong, Shagorika. The Rotary Foundation also funded through Rotary clubs in Bangladesh for dialysis machines for some kidney care center. This is one of the pictures of one of those hospitals. Rotary projects to combat COVID pandemic. Recent COVID pandemic demands were met significantly by Rotary clubs with the support, I would say great support of the Rotary Foundation. Rotary clubs took a good number of projects, including Food for Hungry's supply of PPEs, medical equipments like oxygen concentrators, high flow nasal cannula, and of course the ICU ventilators. This is one of the pictures that Rotarians are providing food to hungry people. Now the impact of this project is, unless we have had this kind of project, there are a lot of people who would have died or would have suffered from malnutrition unless Rotarians would have come forward with these food packages, or I would say food bundles. And these projects are mostly funded by the global grant projects in both the district. You can see District 3281. They undertook a remarkable projects. They provided food to hundreds of people every day for quite some time, mentionable time, I would say more than weeks. They supported the hungry people with supply of food every day. You can see in the next picture, I can see the district governor himself. Past district governor Rubaiyat himself was distributing food packets to hungry people in the street. Our PDG Shaukat is also in the scene. So this was a remarkable project, and some of these projects are funded by the Rotary Foundation also. You can see Rotary clubs are supporting people with the mask, which was the primary safeguard for every individual to keep himself or herself safe from COVID infection. So mask distribution was a major endeavor undertook by Rotary clubs, and I myself have supported many clubs with initiating and gaining, I'd say, achieving the grant from the Rotary Foundation, and provided a lot of PPEs, including the masks. Oxygen concentrator was a great demand for healthcare centers all over the district, and I would say all over the country. So both the districts, they have implemented projects for medical equipments, including these oxygen concentrators. This is one of the pictures that Past District Governor Ataur Rahman Peer and other Rotarians, they are handing over to healthcare facilities with the oxygen concentrator machines. This was a remarkable project. You know, ventilator crisis. That was a global crisis. Even in America, initially, I have seen there was crisis of ventilators. So immediately, some Rotary clubs, they initiated a project for some ICU ventilators, and with the great support of the Rotary Foundation. There were eight ICU ventilators in one single project were given to one of the local hospitals in the northeastern part of Bangladesh. And you can see the impact of this. These ICU ventilators have saving lives of many who suffered from severe COVID infection. This is one of the ICU bed, Rotary District 3281. They got the funding from the Rotary Foundation to support some health centers in Dhaka. So impacts of those projects undertaken by Rotary clubs with the support of the global grants in both the districts, they have the great impacts like they fed the hungries, as I mentioned before, prevented COVID infection, and helped cure from already those who got the COVID infection. They prevented cure those from COVID infected illness. And of course, some of those projects, they saved the lives of people. So I'd say thank you very much for your attention. I wish I had more time. We have a lot more projects that we are so proud that Rotary clubs of both the district 3281 and 3282 in Bangladesh implemented in all the different parts of Bangladesh with the support of the Rotary Foundation. Thank you, PDG. Dr. Mira Nisuzzaman, the moderator of this session. You gave me 20 minutes. I can see in my stopwatch, it is 19 minutes, some seconds. So I feel good that I have been able to complete my presentation within the given time. Thank you again to all the participants for your attention.
Thank you, PDG Manjur, for sharing the overall scenario, the projects, Bangladesh, and you really, before your time, you finished 7 minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the excellent speakers for today sessions. And now we have more than 10 minutes. Minutes of the question and answer. I would like to invite RRFC Jason Lee to lead the question and answer sessions. Listen, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jason Lee.
Thank you, RRFC's Anis. Wow, my fellow Rotarians. 3 facilitators on best practice from Singapore, from Philippines, from Bangladesh. Are they good? Are they inspiring? If they are good, they are inspiring, can you please click heart for all the previous 3 speakers? Click heart. Very good. I'm sure you are inspired by what they have done. Is there any questions on Grove, especially on Grover Grant, that you want to ask? If you have any question, it's either you raise up your hand on the click raise hand on your chat buttons, or you put the questions on the chat button so that the moderators can read it out. Okay, I see PP Wanda from District 3420. Unmute yourself and ask.
Thank you very much. I'm from District 3420 with PPTR. First of all, I'd like to say that it was really, really excellent presentation, and it is really, really inspiring. But then I would like to ask questions. Maybe any of you could answer the questions, because I think that now sometimes we have a problem that like even the global grant is approved, but the payment of the money takes a long time. So is this a new system in the TRF, or is something wrong, some things like that? Because we have one global grant which is approved on the 8th of August, and up to now it's not paid yet, and another global grant approved on the 1st of November. So I think that it's keeping on my mind. So maybe if somebody can give a refreshments, that's really good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, let me answer this question because it is a very common question. Once the Grover Grant is being approved, the next step is that you have to inform all your sponsors to pay their contribution, right? You can check online, right?
Okay.
Go to find
Yes.
the Rotary Foundation, click reports. At the bottom, you will see grant reports. From the grant reports, you click grant details. Key in your Grover Grant number without a spacing, GG212 something, right?
Yeah.
And from there, you click OK. You will be able to see whether the sponsors paid up or they did not pay it up. Okay. So the common problems is that some of the sponsors has not paid, right?
Thank you.
So once you see they have not paid, quickly inform them to make their contribution. There is another problem is that sponsors make their payment, but they did not indicate the global grant number. So when they do not indicate, the money is parked in the TRF bank without going anywhere. Okay, so these are all the common problems. If you find that everything has been paid and you still have not received your money, send an email to the payment coordinators. All right, for Indonesia, I can't remember who is your payment coordinator, because once your grant is approved, your payment coordinators will send you an email. So write to her. I have checked the grant report. All sponsors has paid up. Please advise when can we receive the money. This is a common problem. Okay, and
Thank you.
and for during July and August, there is an upgrading on financial system of TRF. That is also one of the reasons that the money is being paid late. Okay, so whatever the case is, please send an emails to your payment coordinators. They will be able to tell you exactly what is the problem. All right, did I answer your question?
Very well. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
so
next.
much.
Next, past president, Dr. Roming.
From Bangladesh.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Jason.
Yes.
Just a supplement to Wanda. Recently, we have facing a problem in Bangladesh.
Yes.
But that is because of payment. Okay, for global grant. We
Right.
have TRF approved in July, August, more than 7 global grant for our district 3281. But
Right.
we didn't receive, and all payments are made. All
Okay.
payment made. But not yet payment instruction come to our fiscal agent office or in the South Asia office.
Right.
So, but recently there is a dollar rate increasing. There may be a problem. So why we have sent email reminder to the headquarters and on the South Asia office, but there is no response. Can you all RRFC or have you any sort of coordination with the headquarters for the payment system?
Same thing.
Yeah.
What you can do is that you can write to your payment.
Yes, we have do it.
You have done it.
We are already 3 or 4 reminder already given to them.
2 person can help you. In Bangladesh, 2 person can help you. Number 1 is your fiscal agent, because in
Fiscal
Bangladesh
agent
there is a fiscal agent.
Yeah,
Number
KM
2
General
is
Abidin
your
already involved.
RRFC. Number 2 is your RRFC. Write to the grant officer. They will respond.
Yeah, I have already told. 3 reminder is given all the grants officer.
I think you write to Roy John, South Asia.
All things. Roy John, Ricky Barnett, all we have. Rick already we have
Okay.
given.
If that is the case, to solve your problem, you send an email to me. I will try to contact this TRF for you with a copy to RRFC Anis, right? Because Anis is in charge of your
I know.
your
I
zone.
know.
You have my email address. If not, you can actually get from RRFC Anis, right?
Okay.
Okay, then
Thank
I
you.
see what I can help you, because normally when the RFC write to TRF and the fiscal agent write, they will not they will reply. But of course, during this COVID pandemic situation, it may take them slightly longer time, maybe 3 to
The first
3 to
time
4 days.
they inform us about the upgradation of their account system, which you say. But after that, from August to till today, we didn't receive 6 global grant already approved. Which
Okay.
is from June to
I
June.
think Jason.
Yeah.
The rule never CC copy to me. I never received
Yes.
any CC copy.
Right. So it's okay. It's okay. It's not too late. All right. Please send an email to Anis. Okay. Then from there we will try to help you. Is that okay,
Thank you.
Anis?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. DG Ira, go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure it is a good question or not, but in order to make global grant come into practice, we have to find international partners, right? And
Yes.
we are in the side of kind of a beneficiary, and the international partner will be in the side of maybe donor. So
Yes.
these days, it may be more difficult to find it because of the economic situation. So could you please, could you suggest any new way or good way to find it in a new normal area?
There's a few ways. One is the showcase, which should take time. And the most important thing is your network and your friendship. It's who you know. It's very simple. Who you know, okay? So once you know, like for example, if you know Shahu, Dr. Shahu, he may be able to help you. If you know PDG Mike, he may be able to help you. You get me?
Yeah.
It's okay. This kind of thing, there's no fixed and fast rules. In Rotary, the number one core value is fellowship. Who you know, once you know, people will help you. All right. So I think for District 3350, you have a good network with the Koreans, with Taiwan, with Japan.
Yeah, I hope so. Yep.
So I think there's no problem. My fellow Rotarians, basically international partners are all friendship.
Yeah,
It's
but in
connected.
any way, it is a little bit more difficult and more difficult compared to the past years. So, okay.
So my advice is that there's few ways of doing a global grant. All right, some is international partners, and today's like PDG Mike has said, the international partner contribution is only 15%. So 85% is actually through local. So we can actually what do you call it? Raise the money to do the projects, and also like what I've noticed, you have actually a sister districts arrangement that may also help. That is also one of the ways. Once you have a sister districts, you can work together. Did I answer your question, DG?
Yes, completely agree with you.
Thank
you very
you.
much. Yeah,
Thank you. Any other questions? Is there any other questions? If there is no questions, I assume that the three facilitators has actually done very well, and all Rotarians, all DRFC, all governors in these three zones has very good relationship and friendship among one another. You are doing good global grants together. With that, I would like to pass back the mic to moderators, Anis. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Wonderful question answer, your session. But I think I hope a lot of participation question to you, because everybody is quiet. Okay, everybody knows everything. Now, I would like to request our good friend ARRFC PDG, all District 3420 Indonesia, to do the review and the reflection for today's session.
Thank you very much, PDG Anis, who gave me this opportunity to talk to all of you. Greetings from Bali, Indonesia. My name is Aloysius Purwa, ARFC D3420. We thank all of the great speakers this evening with motivations, inspirations for all of us to do good in the world. I have to greet my friends here, my classmates. Thank you for listening. Past President Sahul Hamid inspired us all with many examples of global grant projects in Singapore that gave large impacts in the society, and those impacts are only possible when they are sustainable. So if we see all those projects still alive in 15 or 10 years, then it is a sustainable project. And it is great to learn that in Singapore also you have problem in mental illness. Suicide is top priority, and having 130 volunteers to work on it is really good, because training and mentoring is always very important and involving community participation. So investing in humanity, delivering impact, sustainable grant project is what inspired us all by past President Sahul Hamid. Thank you.
Thank you.
PDG Michael Lirio from Philippines. A lot of changes told us the new rules at the Rotary Foundation, especially in terms of global grants. A new area of focus in addition to the existing 6 areas of focus. Support the environment. That the animo of making global grants is double. When it was began 2013, when we were beginning to learn about global grant, nobody or not many people could or make global grants, but now double of last year. That makes it exhaust the DDF before the year end, and the World Fund was depleted before year end, while the IPF support was not balanced. And all we need to support more to annual program funds. And a lot of changing too. The DDF will be matched by 80% instead of 100%. And next year, it will be changing the DF 47 for $100, 47.50 for becoming DDF, and 47.50 become World Fund, and $5 for administration. Preserve planet Earth is very important. $80 million was spent to support environment in 5 years. And this is amazing. PDG Monsurul Chaudhuri, my classmate, thank you very much. You told us so many projects in Bangladesh from the time of matching grant, other grants, district grants, and global grant nowadays. And so many examples of project done since the time. And you built a lot of hospitals, cancer center, mammogram center, response to COVID-19, especially food production to combat hunger and alleviate poverty, all great sustainable projects. You have limb center, training programs, and I think all Bangladeshi should be proud to be Rotarians. Yes, PDG Jason Lim is always a good person to answer all the questions, and he is very sure that all the answers is correct. We thank you very much. Dear Rotary readers and Rotarians, the Rotary Foundation goal last year was $410 million, but collecting more than $440 million. And from that amount, $135 million in the form of APF and $135 million in the form of Polio Plus. And this happened for the last 4 years. So meaning that every year, the Rotary Foundation has $135 million in APF to become DDF and World Fund from this year until the next 3-4 years to come. This means, and all the clubs and districts worldwide have so much funds to form of district grants, global grants, and other grants. Now, let's count all the value of your expertise, time, travel, and extra funding from Rotarians worldwide to do all these global grants and all district grants as much as the fund itself. That means the Rotary Foundation helps with 260 million worth of projects to do good in the world. And this is done every year. On top of this project, the Rotary Foundation go on with the philanthropic projects is to end polio now from the face of the world. With all these thoughts, we Rotarian are okay to be proud to be Rotarians. As part of doing great in the world and being good people with great legacy. Thank you very much. Back to moderator PDG Anis.
Thank you, PDG all, for comprehensive report sharing. And now I cannot see our our director nominee elect. Our director elect is here.
No, he is not in yet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Check again. Technical teams, please check, find out. If not, then I request our institute chairman, PDG Kimbok, to say about the closing remarks and adjourn the today's session.
Thank you, the moderators, RFC Anis. Thank you. Okay, I don't think our director is here either. So, TRS trustee PDG Aziz Manam, Regional Rotary Foundation seminar team leader, RFC ENT Chen Hongxiu, Assistant RRFS team leader PDG Jason Lim, moderators RFC Anis, distinguished speakers, my fellow Rotarians, good evening. So, this evening's topics on the sustainable service projects to increase our impact. The 3-evening seminar has covered most of the essential part of the Rotary Foundation's strategies to align with the Rotary Action Plan so as to achieve the Rotary Foundation goals. Successful and sustainable service project not only increase our impact, but will also bring about enhancing our engagement among Rotarians and non-Rotarians and expand our reach with impactful service projects. With impactful service projects, our public image will naturally improve too. It is my duty to thank RRFS team leader PDG ENT Chen Hongxiu and his team for organizing this year Rotary Foundation seminar. Thank you to Trustee Aziz Memon for coming in to do the opening address. Moderators, Anis, you've done a wonderful job. And your presenter too, DRFC and TRF Kadir, PP Dr. Shahu, Kadir Head for Zone 10A, PDG Michael Lirio, DRFC PDG Dr. Manzuru, and AARFC PDG Aloysius Purwa from the District 3420. Thank you for your excellent presentation. So, I must also thank the David Copperfield team, also called the tech support team. They have been working behind the scene to move people around. But this evening, the only thing we feel is they did not produce our RI director-elect. You're not able to produce him. So, okay. But anyway, you still do a good job to ensure that the seminar runs so smoothly. And actually, why I say they're David Copperfield, because so many times they were able to move us around without us moving our seats into different rooms. Can you imagine that? So of course, you, the participants, who has been giving us so much support over the 3 evenings of this Rotary Foundation seminar. Okay, so thank you, everyone. All good things must come to an end, but don't fret. 2021 Rotary Institute will commence on the 3rd of December. Sorry about the advertisement. So I would like to see you all turning up at the 2021 Rotary Institute. So it's leave me now to declare the this year's RRFS, the Regional Rotary Foundation Seminar, closed. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you everybody. Because of our director-elect is on the traveling. He's going to Dubai for next institute. He cannot attend. And Sergeant, our director Sergeant is busy tonight. Also, he cannot attend today. Now, already our chairman is adjourned. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.
Please don't leave yet. We're taking group photos. Please stay on.
Okay.
Listen your videos.
Pauline, why are you not taking the photo, Pauline?
I'm not given up the task to do it.
All right, now.
Expecting you to do it.
Pauline always taking picture, huh?
DG Lilu video is off.
Ah.
Come on, Janice Carol. Continue to turn on your video, smile.
Don't hear anything.
One more screen. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with
Thank you,
us.
everyone.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Video game.
Thank you so much.
Kimball,
Good night.
Yeah, thank you
good
for the
luck.
lecture.
Tomorrow I
Thank
hear
you,
something
everyone.
from you.
Thank you very much,
Good night, everyone.
and good night.
Reserve your time Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the Rotary Institute.
Christina Chin, ni hao.
Yes, our thank you
Thank you, John.
very